Guten Abend, gute Freunde, und willkommen to another Medieval 2 online battle. And those Germans holding those guns over there in the front rows are part of my army, part of the army of the Holy Roman Empire. And this one is going to start really fast and furious, so no real time for introduction. You see that my Reiters are moving over here on his right, on my left, but they have, sadly they have come in range to my opponent's retinue Longbowmen, and he's got 1, 2, 4, 5 of those units, so 4 retinue Longbowmen and 1 Longbowman unit in the front, with planted stakes in front of them, protecting them from a charge from my guys. He's also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heavy billmen, then in the back 1, 2, 3 dismounted English knights. My opponent also commands 1, 2, 3, 4 English knights. It's 5 English knights and 1 unit of these demi lancers, which I think it's a very fast moving unit, but I'm not quite sure. So as you can notice, it's a late period battle, and it's the Holy Roman Empire against the English, and my guys have already started taking casualties, which is not by my liking. Since he's got his Longbowmen outranging my guys, and my guys being these 4 Arquebusiers amongst others, then these 1, 2, 3 Teutonic Knights over here, heavily upgraded. In the middle, Landsknecht Pikemen overlapping with, and this is where the surprise is, in the middle, Dismounted Imperial Knights, but on the flanks, handgunners. So I decided to give these guys a try in a Gunpowder heavy army combination, which is suitable for the late period when you think about it. I have always said that I always prefer Gunpowder to any type of bolts or or arrows. So I have my 2 units of handgunners overlapping with the Landsknecht Pikemen over here on the left. On the other side, on the right, I have my dismounted Imperial Knights overlapping with those guys. And the battle has, as you can see, has already started with not really as I wanted it to start. He has caught up with my Reiters, and those guys are wavering. His demi lancers managed to get to them, and he's going to pursue them with his 2 of his English knights over here and his demi lancers. This unit has gotten away, but it's still under, but it was under heavy bombardment, so it lost a lot of guys. But as you can see, he commits a lot of resources to this fight, to hunting down my Reiters, and I'm mostly trying to micromanage these guys, but it's not really working well. Thing is, I love using these guys. I always use them in my late period Holy Roman Empire roster, but they're not fast moving. That's the sucky part about them. So these demi lancers can catch up with them, and then his English knights can join up the fight, and then those guys can gangbang on my Reiters, which is not good. But I'm going to try to, as I see that he really commits to this fight, I'm going to try to get to the get him to use get him to chase my guys down as far as it's possible, and I'm going to use that moment. And while he is totally committed over there, I'm going to charge at his lines. I mean, I'm going to move my front line. Really, I'm going to sneak basically my front line to his line, and I'm going to attack over there. As you can see, I got a real nice charge with 2 of these Teutonic Knights over there, and I'm going to also get a real nice charge from my 3rd Teutonic Knights unit over here. And as you can see, it had really great effects. His Longbowmen there are already beginning to rout, and I'm moving my Arquebusiers, and there goes his general. And I'm also moving my Arquebusiers in position to shoot at his guys, and I'm moving my front infantry line to meet his front infantry line. That's going to be fun. Let's see how these handgunners fare in a melee situation. I have turned up the skirmish mode on those guys, so they're going to stand their ground. And as you can see, more units from his front line starting to rout. There go his English Knights, my heavily upgraded General Bodyguards and Teutonic Knights, do their damage, which is really nice for me. and only one unit of English Knights left. But over here, he's got his other 2 units of English Knights, and his demi-lancers still dealing with my Reiters. Finally, they have dealt actually with my Reiters, but they are decimated. My Reiters did put up a good fight. On the other hand, he's got the English Knights that just routed come back from routing. So I pulled out my guys from the prolonged melee. I'm going to again charge at the nearest English Knights over there, and as that fight happens on the wings, I'm moving my Landsknecht Pikemen, as you can see, pretty much decimated by the fire of the Longbowmen, together with my handgunners and my Dismounted Imperial Knights on front, and these guys are going to start doing their stuff right about now, since they are in range. And trust me, after this battle, I'm sure, and I can guarantee that these guys are worth it. These handgunners, they're pretty good. Some of my guys also started to rout. That's that unit, I think, of Landsknecht Pikemen that got decimated by fire by the arrows of the Longbowmen. I still stand to my opinion that those guys are not worth taking in a late period battle, but concentrated fire from those guys is still really decimating to tightly packed units such as those Landsknecht Pikemen over there. And our 2 main battle lines have finally clashed. And his mistake, he's clumping up his guys. He's really clumping up his guys, and as you can see, I'm going to use that fact, and I'm going to surround those guys from all sides. And I know sooner or later, even though they are better than my Dismounted Imperial Knights, when they are surrounded, they're gone. Especially under fire from my handgunners. These guys, the biggest bonus that these guys bring to the battlefield is that they damage the enemy's morale. And as you can see, my General's Bodyguards and what's left of my Teutonic Teutonic Knights, after some serious battles against the English Knights, is going to charge at these Longbowmen. I got them also to rout because you saw that they are pretty dangerous. I'm going to turn and face the threat of the English Knights, and as I said, my guys are heavily upgraded, so I know that even though there are just 3 guys against his 6, I think, cav units, I'm still fairly confident that they can win. And finally, his main battle line is almost completely routed. What he's left with are his heavy billmen, and I'm going to attack them from the back with my Dismounted Imperial Knights over here. And his force of how do you call them? And his force of Longbowmen. Some of his Longbowmen units are still left. Here you have retinue Longbowmen, 2 retinue Longbowmen units at full force. Here you have almost 1 retinue Longbowman almost at full force, and these guys have started to rout. What I bring to the table, as I said, are these guys almost at full strength, these handgunners, and dealing their morale damage together with these guys with my Arquebusiers. I forgot these guys in the back to mention them. They were all in the back all the time, and just like the handgunners, they're not just doing the just doing the actual damage. They're also doing the they're not just doing the actual damage. They're also doing a lot of morale damage. And this battle swing my direction, even though it did not start that way. My opponent is going to try to use his demi-lancers for something, well, half decisive, but it's not going to work. I'm going to clamp these guys down from all sides, and they are not the unit you want to get. You want to use in a prolonged melee. No cavalry, no cav unit is the unit you want to use in prolonged melee, but especially not these guys, or guys like this, light cav. And I'm hunting what's left from his guys. I'm hunting those guys down, and not much left. Heavy billmen are starting to rout. Using my remaining 3 cav units over here to chase down his Longbowmen. As you can see, my guys are going to charge these retinue Longbowmen, which are at full force, and they're going to charge under heavy bombardment. And there you have your flying retinue Longbowmen over there. and even though my guys are much have are much fewer in numbers, they're going to do their stuff. And I put these guys, my Landsknecht Pikemen, out of formation, out of tight formation, out of how do you call it, spear roll formation, just so they are able to flank these guys. So this was just a big, this battle was just a big micro mess. It was. Well, after I managed to get my alliance into position, it was control chaos. Before that, as I lost my Reiters, I was pretty much afraid that I might lose my battle, because I usually use my Reiters for much more decisive moments. But it was decisive, since they drew three of his cav units away from the main fight, and even surrounded like that, they did their damage. Morale damage again, and plus actual damage. So this is well, this was a really good example of a gunpowder army, of elite Pike and Shot army for the Holy Roman Empire. So heavy on Arquebusiers, handgunners, Reiters, a lot of units that do their damage with guns, and it showed that those guys are pretty good. And I'm gonna say it, I think, for the third time here. I will always take guns over bolts and arrows. So basically what I'm saying is, don't bring knives to a gunfight. So if it's a late period battle, and if it's not against the host rules, bring some gunpowder, at least some gunpowder. You don't have to be as your army does not have to be as gunpowder heavy as mine, but some gunpowder is always a good idea. The only thing left for him are not routing are these normal longbowmen, and now I'm going to deal with those guys as well. I expect them to start routing any minute now. I'm chasing them down with my Dismounted Imperial Knights, and two of my Dismounted Imperial Knights, and I think I'm bringing up some Arquebusiers here. We're gonna fast forward here because, well, nothing spectacular is going to happen, and here I think is where I'm going to catch up with them. They're very tired, so just one shot was enough, and that's about it. They're going to, well, that's not the direction you want to run away to, guys. Now it's my Dismounted Imperial Knights, and here are the battle results. It's a clear victory for me. I deployed almost 1,700 guys. Deployed 1,500. I lost 700, almost 800 guys. We lost 1,300 guys. If we take a closer look at the battle statistics, we will see that my General Bodyguards and Teutonic Knights absolutely rocked. They inflicted a massive amount of casualties together, so it's 2, 3, 4, almost 500 casualties from those 3 units. As I said, heavily upgraded, really good. They did their job really good. And the Reiters distracted much of his cav force, and he dedicated much of his attention to that fight with the Reiters. So my guys pulled off a real nice charge of those 3 Teutonic Knights and General Bodyguards. The Reiters also did manage to get a decent amount of kills, and the Landsknecht Pikemen are not primarily my killing force, my punching force. My Dismounted Imperial Knights, this unit especially, a real nice amount of kills, and the Arquebusiers and the handgunners. As you can see, the handgunners did not, well, their damage is not really is not really shown in numbers. It's in the morale damage that they cause, making your enemies rout much faster, where they're really valuable. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this battle, and I hope you will stick around for more. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.